Hello everyone, my name is Steven Crown, and welcome to my episode 10 discussion of Recreators, where it seems that we have now reached some conclusion of the first half of the series. Now from where we left off last episode, which I didn't do a review for, but I'm not going to focus on that too much besides just saying that last episode's events were very convenient and was definitely the worst writing this series has had to date. But regardless, today we have the giant clash between the creations, all because of Magne's lie about Mamika being killed by Meteor, which in turn led Alice to attack her. Now to talk about each battle this episode, first off we have the fight between Yuya and Magne, which Magne basically owns Yuya, since not only does one of his attacks not work on her anymore, but she also stole his persona, stand, partner, whatever you want to call it. And if Magne wasn't any more OP in this series, well, now she is. And honestly, I'm not sure what's going to happen to Yuya now. Of course he could still fight, but he lost his partner, which apparently was a curse to begin with, so I'm not sure if Yuya's going to be glad that it's gone, or if he's going to try and get it back from her if he can, or just make its creator write a new one for him, since in this episode we have gotten our first revision to one of our characters, but I'll get to that in a moment. Now the next big fight was between Alice and Meteor, which Meteor got her ass handed to as well, but Celestia joins in the fight and also got her ass handed to. But that was thanks to Altair, who seems to be a very broken character, since we've seen in this episode not only can she create a mimic of something such as Kanoi's mech, but she can also manipulate other items such as Celestia's sword. I'm not quite sure what she did, but it seems like she made Celestia's sword disappear, which led to Alice stabbing Celestia. Now speaking of Alice, we see in this episode that her morals and thoughts are starting to break down, because now we know that she acknowledges the truth of her story being entertainment for everyone, but in her mind she just sees it as everyone basically laughing at the torture and suffering of her people, while Soda tries to prove to her that her story is meant to be more inspirational to the audience, as her character is supposed to be a role model to get others to be more like her. And at first Alice seemed more than ready to kill anyone who stands in her path, but after she hurts Meteor pretty badly and stabs Celestia, it seems that she's starting to have second thoughts on her role in this world. And before I move on talking about the big climax of this episode, I just have to give major props to Soda for not just being a side character anymore and actually starting to take action himself, even though he can't do much in these battles. I'm glad that his character is starting to progress further in this series and not just doing nothing. Now to talk about the climax of this episode, it seems that we're very close to the collision happening today, since all the creations thus far are in one place duking it out, but thanks to Celestia's new revision, it seems that the world can have another effect besides the collision, since we've seen that if the battle continued on, Altair would have been kicked out from the physical world, which is very interesting. I'm wondering what actually dictates her getting kicked out. And now to talk about the revision, it seems that while revisions do indeed work if it's accepted by the general public, it seems that it's only temporary to the characters actually here. Now we don't know the reason why it's like this, but I'm speculating that it's because the creation has already deviated so far from the original source material. It could also just be the fact that it actually wasn't put into the story yet, since Celestia's creator just tweeted out the design rather than putting it into the story itself. Whatever the case may be, it seems that there's still some kinks that need to be ironed out before revisions are fully functional, and now that begs the question of whether Celestia will still be alive next episode, since she has a gaping hole in her stomach. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully she doesn't die though. Now the animation this episode was pretty good, and the fight scenes were also well choreographed. My personal favorite was the mech battle and Alice's move that summoned all those horsemen, and I also really love the music in this episode as well, but that's not saying much since this series hasn't disappointed on that front at all. Overall, this was just a really good episode, and probably my favorite episode of this series to date, and probably the best episode of the series to date. Now before I sign off this video, there was something I wanted to discuss from a Reddit post, and this may be minor spoilers for people who don't care, so click off the video now if you don't want to get spoiled. But it seems that with part 2, we're going to get some new creations that will join the fray, and this is something I thought that was going to happen since Altair wanted chaos in the world. Why not bring in more creations to the series? So it'll be interesting to see who else joins the series, and we may possibly get some rival creations from, say, Yuya's story, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's it for the video guys, so if you liked the video, make sure to upvote the video or like if you're on YouTube, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So make sure to catch me later for my next review of Recreators in part 2, and until then, have a great day.